Hi everybody, welcome back to Payroll Liability section of Chapter 9. In this exercise, we'll practice calculating the employer's payroll tax expense and write the related journal entry. As always, I strongly recommend that you download and print the PDF version of the worksheets that accompany this lecture or download the Excel workbook so that you can follow along with the video and practice calculating payroll tax expense. Let's take a look at our schedule. We are given the following information for Sierra Company. 1. There are 3 employees, Megan Smith, Sam Levitz, and George Arts. Next, we are given year-to-date gross wages through September 30th. We are also given gross wages to be paid for the month of October for each employee. And we're given details about wage bases and tax rates. In this problem, the FICA Social Security taxes are 6.2% on the first $128,400 paid to its employees during the calendar year. FICA Medicare taxes are 1.45% on all gross wages. FUTA taxes are 0.6% and SUTA taxes are 2.9% of the first $7,000 paid to each employee during the calendar year. Our job is to first calculate the gross wages for the month of October that are subject to Social Security tax, Medicare tax, and FUTA-SUTA taxes. Then, using the information we obtained here, we will need to then calculate the employer's payroll tax expense. And from this schedule, we will then be able to write the journal entry for to record these payroll taxes. It's very important to understand that the year-to-date gross wages have already been paid to the employees, and all payroll taxes on the year-to-date gross wages have already been paid. We are calculating our numbers for the month of October. The only reason we need the year-to-date gross wage column is to see if any employee has exceeded or is bumping up against a wage base. Let's practice. Megan Smith. Before October, Megan had already earned $5,900 in gross wages. This is not even close to the FICA SS wage base of $128,400. Accordingly, all of her $1,500 of gross wage for the month of October is subject to Social Security tax. So put $1,500 in the FICA Social Security wages column. There is no limit on wages paid subject to FICA Medicare tax. So all $1,500 of Megan's October salary is subject to Medicare tax. Put $1,500 in the FICA Medicare wages column. Before October, Megan had already earned $5,900 in gross wages. This is not quite in excess of the FUTA and SUTA wage base of $7,000. By the time the October wage of $1,500 is paid, she will exceed the wage base, so some of her October wages will be subject to FUTA and SUTA tax and some will be exempt. The easiest way to make that calculation is to subtract the prior year-to-date gross from the wage base. That will calculate the remaining salary subject to FUTA and SUTA tax for the rest of the year. $7,000 wage base minus $5,900 year-to-date through September 30th equals $1,100 of wages still subject to FUTA and SUTA tax. The rest of her gross wages are exempt from FUTA and SUTA tax, so put $1,100 in the FUTA and SUTA column. Why don't you pause your video and calculate the wages subject to FICA, Social Security, FICA, Medicare tax, and FUTA-SUTA tax for both Sam Levitz and George Arts. Then total up the columns. When you've finished, click on the video again and check your answers. You should have a total of Social Security wages, $8,700, a total of Medicare wages, $9,500, and a total of FUTA-SUTA wages, $1,100. If you don't have those numbers, please pause your video, check my calculations, especially the one for George Arts with respect to his Social Security wages. Then fix your errors and continue the video. Now we have all the information necessary to easily calculate Sierra Company's payroll tax expense for the month of October. FICA taxable wages are $8,700. Given to us in the problem, and also because you know from prior video lectures that the Social Security tax rate is 6.2%. Therefore, $8,700 times 6.2%, the company's tax liability for employers' portion of FICA Social Security tax is $539.40. Notice I have two decimals here. We are writing in currency, United States currency. Always use two decimals when writing in currency. FICA Medicare taxable wages are $9,500. That rate is 1.45%. That equals $137.75 liability. You go ahead and finish the FUTA and SUTA and then total up the total payroll tax expense for the month of October. If you apply the appropriate tax rates to the taxable wages, you should end up with total payroll tax expense of $715.65. If you did not come up with that number, please pause your video and check your calculations and fix any errors before moving on. Now we need to write the October 31st journal entry to record the payroll tax expense for the month of October. The journal entry literally falls out of this schedule. Watch how easy this is to write. We will not remit any of the taxes to the government until a later date, so we have a liability for each type of tax. And here's the journal entry. Debit payroll tax expense for the total payroll tax expense that you calculated. Then credit a liability for each one of the taxes that you withheld, that you incurred during the month of October. That's all for this video. In the next video, we'll calculate the amount of tax to be withheld from the employee's gross wage. We'll calculate their withholding and their net paychecks, and we will write the related journal entries. See you next time.